I just realized that I filmed the whole video in a graphic shirt, and sometimes when I'm watching films with graphic shirts, I want to see what they say. So I'm just going to put it at the beginning. This says whiskey business, like a takeoff on risky business, but it's whiskey. I'm having a glass of wine tonight. It's the weekend, y'all. Here's the video. Hey, beautiful people. My name is Kristen. Thank you for stopping by my channel. I have got the evening sun coming in the window on me, and I have a brand new phone. I film with my phone, and they upgraded my phone for free. I'm still waiting for what the catch is, but so far, I don't know what it is. So I'm testing this video to see how the sound and picture quality are without any enhancements. I didn't plug in any of my extra accessories. So we'll see. Let me know if you can't hear me or things are blurry, or gentle, kind feedback is helpful. This is a video I'm going to talk about current reads, all the books that I kind of read in the month of September. Well, at least the ones that I haven't reviewed. I will leave the first books linked below. And as always, I will hold up the book. You can scroll along till the one you want to hear about. Currently, I started this month, well, now last month, September, I started reading The Declaration of the Rights of Magicians, H.G. Perry. This book was recommended to me by a woman that I've made friends with at a used bookstore, and she just knows me and said that I will love this book. And I'm about 100 pages into about the 500-page book, and it is a story that does have magic. It is set in like the 1700s, and it takes place across the world. There's some of the action happening in London, in Jamaica, in all these different France, all these different countries around the world. And basically it is the historical things that take place, but there is magic, and there are people that are born with magic, and they're kind of fearful and trying to monitor them and not do dark magic. And then sometimes people also are born with magic blood, and they're basically a vampire where they need to have blood in order to use magic blood. And so there's all these kind of mythological elements to it, but the not so thinly veiled is talking about also just an entire arc of prejudice about how do you single out or make values on who is who or what's going on. And because it's the 1700s, it deals with slavery and the origins of slavery, and do you stop slavery, stop the magic use, when do you use it's a fascinating kind of philosophical thing. And there's three main characters that we're kind of following through it, and so far I'm really enjoying it. I'm just, this may be actually a vampire magic story that I actually get on with. I'm pretty picky about them, y'all, I have to admit. So stay tuned for next month for the full review on that, but just wanted to put that out there. I also already have talked a little bit about Hamnet, but I think that I wanted to mention again that this is just a 5-star read for me. I am I am tempted to go to the bookstore and pay just the 10% off to buy Maggie OFerrell's new book. I think it's called The Marriage Portrait, just because this book was such a beautiful read. It was just really atmospheric, very just tangible, and one of those things where you can smell and taste the atmosphere, and just the character and dialogue is just really enjoying just to come along for the ride and just to have that. This is the story of Shakespeare's family, and it is based in some historical accounts, but obviously the fictitious story of what happened with the death of one of his children during the plague. So highly recommend that. If you haven't read it, it was worth the hype for me. I also talked quite a bit about The Nickel Boys by Coleson Whitehead. It is also just another 5-star read. Wanted to lift it up again. This is based on a actual reform school for boys that existed in Florida and had to be shut down for such an abuse of power, just horrific things going on there. And it was segregated by male whites and blacks. So there was some of that kind of commentary and you know, just injustice going on and just dealing with that. And this is a beautiful, just emotional story of two boys who are friends navigating that system and just trying to hold on to their own humanity in the midst of that. Totally worth it. My new release, I had attempted to read Small Angels. This is a gothic fiction, which I also struggle with that, but I was intrigued by this because there's a wedding that's going to happen next to a haunted wood, and the woods itself does not want the wedding to happen. And so I thought that was kind of a fun thing, and it does read a little fairy tale-esque, but it really started to feel like I was at a Girl Scout campfire where it was supposed to be scary or spooky, but really it was just kind of silly. You know, it's like, you know, the bride is overcome by having a nightmare in her sleeping and making her veil into a noose. You know, it's just that kind of stuff that maybe that's creepy to a 10-year-old. I don't know. And I don't even like being scared. I don't even want it to be scary. But if it's gonna be, then I don't know. That's my review on that. Then I read, I don't want to mispronounce his name, but I will give it a go. Henri Charriere. It's French, and I am really, really bad with that, so I apologize. But Papillon is butterfly, and he had a butterfly tattoo, and this is totally a true story of a gentleman who is falsely accused in the prison system, and he basically just keeps on having things against him, but he actually has some integrity. He won't murder. He's trying to escape, and it's a story of adventure of him repeatedly trying to escape and be thwarted and moved around and deal with things, and it is told in so much detail. You just kind of hurt for these men. I mean, even if they technically did the crime, it's still troubling to read about just what goes on and just, you know, I feel like I read a lot of prisons and people locked up. I did, for a lighter read one of my Miss Koboyashis Dragonmaid's manga, and it was a really, really cute one. Like, another dragon pops over into the world and just causes all kind of troubles, and there's a bunch of basically what I call 12-year-old boy humor, and it's just cute, and I like discussing it with my boys who are in their 20s. I also read Binti. I talked a little bit about this in my travel vlog, which I can link that video below, but this is basically the story of, it's intergalactic, that Binti is a story of alien race who is kind of discriminated against. And so the interesting thing is the author is first generation immigrated from Nigeria, and just dealing with that, being in, you know, basically middle school and trying to fit into American culture in the midst of some of, you know, trying to reconcile her nationality and her original culture with that. And then this is just a really cool story where she's been accepted to a galactic university that normally her species is not admitted to, and so going across the universe. And this is a series, so this is the beginning one where she's just going, and all of a sudden there is kind of space wars and whatnot. Super short, super quick read. I had one of the things that had appealed to me is that I'd actually heard this was being read in school for middle school kids, and so I just kind of wanted to be in the know. I just thought that sounded cool, and it kind of is. It's, you know, it's not super deep, but it's good. It's worth looking into. Mercy House. This is the one that was on one of my triad chapters, and it's like nuns behaving badly. It's basically they're trying to even kind of push the boundaries of what the Catholic Church will allow them to do, because they're a rescue house for domestic violence. And so you have women that are coming that are struggling with, well, are they pregnant from rape? Or, you know, how do they respond to having such violent attackers? Or, you know, where's the justice, and when do you push for retribution? And, you know, those kind of things wrestling through. And there's a backstory of one of the head sisters and a priest that is also not doing ethical things at all, and then trying to, you know, call him out when he has more power over them, kind of thing. So that's kind of that kind of story. So if you're okay with some triggers of rape and domestic violence and church politics that go wrong, you know, which is just sad to me. It is a reality of human brokenness, but there are stories out there where the church doing good and doing right. And technically these, you know, sisters that are giving all and making hard sacrifices for the good of the women, that is in the end a good story of the church doing the right thing, in my humble opinion. Then I picked up Fiona Davis's The Lions of Fifth Avenue. This is a book about books. So it is that dual timeline that Fiona Davis is so good about. She does have it where it is the New York Public Library. The lions are the stone lions in front, and it goes 80 years apart. So you've got a woman and then her granddaughter, and just there's a mystery of book thief. There is a storyline about the family drama, of course, and just a couple other, you know, interesting things. I did pick this as my traveling book club. So if you are part of that, this is one that you are going to read, because I appreciate that it's a book about books. And then it's also a book about, because the grandmother, if you will, it's an author, and that wasn't a time when women were really being as promoted as authors. And so it's kind of a women empowerment to write and to be considered equal in voice of that. So love that. Totally good. And then, got a couple stuck together. I read my first Colleen Hoover. So Steph at Steph's World had recommended I try All Your Perfects. So I did. And it's cute. I am pretty picky with romance, and so a couple other people had told me even that Colleen Hoover I should give a shot to, and so I will read some more. I thought this was good. This particular story is really adorable. It is a couple that meets because they're basically busting their exes cheating on them, against them, so to speak. So like, you know, there's a man and woman that are both in committed relationships, and they're cheating on and these couple comes and busts them, and then they form a relationship over time or whatever that then turns romantic. So it's cute. I like that. I thought that was creative and you know, funny, had some humor. So like it. I did go ahead and read my children's book on perseverance. This is the true story of Mary Jane Patterson, who was the first woman to get a 4-year college degree, or first Black woman, I should say, to get her 4-year college degree. So well done. It's just to encourage kids to strive to be their best, particularly in school, but just in all areas of their life, which is great. And then I listened to this book on CD or whatever that I picked up at a library sale because I did quite a bit of driving, going to some conferences and traveling, by J.D. Robb, which is also Nora Roberts. So this is New York to Dallas, a story of a female cop who basically had had some childhood drama that she had turned into kicking butt as a police officer, and then she's dealing with a crime that kind of echoes her own trauma and drama, and it involves child kidnapping and rape and torture, and it was pretty graphic, and I struggled. So this is my second JD Robb book. The first one was good. It wasn't great, so I'm willing to try maybe one more because I love Nora Roberts as just kind of a cushy, soft, kind of comfort romance, kind of, you know what you're going to get and you get it kind of thing. And I think maybe her crime books are just a little much for me, but I'm willing to give one more. If you have a particular one you want to nominate, I do own one more, so I think I'm going to try a chapter on it here in the next month and see if I'm going to do that. Or sometimes it's okay just to say these things aren't for us. So those were the books that I read in the month of September. So if you read any of them or want to read any of them now, leave me a comment below. I appreciate you stopping by. I hope that you will come back again, y'all. Take care. Happy reading.